Hi, this is Stephanie from Raising Six Arrows, and today I would love to talk to you about something that I've been seeing actually come up a lot in some of my homeschool Facebook groups, and a lot of people have actually asked me this in person, and so I thought I really should just make a video of it. Not that I don't mind talking to the people that I know, I definitely love to, but for other people that may not know what to do next, how to start homeschooling. So there's two different ways, obviously, that you're going to do this. So one, the first way we'll talk about how to start homeschooling is how you would go about doing things if your child has never been to school before. So if they're young and you're really, you feel that God placing on your heart to homeschool your children, then what better way to start already praying and thinking about these things? First, you're going to want to know what the laws are in your state. HSLDA, I will put a link in the description box of their website, but they are a great resource that you can use to find out all of the different laws and things of homeschooling for your state. So every state is very different, and so I won't be able to go in and tell you all the different things for your state. So you're going to want to go there to find out what your homeschooling laws are. So you've now decided, I'm going to homeschool. What do I do first? First, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to write down your why. So get a notebook or somewhere that you're gonna start writing down your thoughts, whether you're a paper person or if you're a digital person. So you're gonna want a place that you can write down your thoughts. So your first part will be your why. This is going to be very important, especially through your homeschooling journey, due to the fact of some days it's hard, just like parenthood is hard. You have your whys, and coming back to that is really helpful. So write out your why, and maybe you have a special verse or different things that God has laid on your heart if you're a Christian. So those are a lot of things that I have done as I wrote out my why. Then next, what you're going to want to do is learn what your homeschooling style is. And what do I mean by that? So how do you want to homeschool? And so in a sense, how do you want to teach? There's so many different ways. I personally am eclectic. Eclectic means we do many different styles of homeschooling. So you have traditional. Traditional is you do school at home. So very much similar to what a school building is. I'm sorry, I live by an Air Force base, and apparently the planes decided they wanted to fly by now, out of all the time out of today. So sorry about that. So what you're going to want to do you want your school to look, a homeschool to look like a brick and mortar school? If so, that's great. I started out that way, and I learned very quickly our very first year that was not for us, not for me and not for my son. So you have traditional, you have classical, you have Charlotte Mason, Waldorf, Montessori, and I'm sure I'm missing a few. So you're going to want to know your homeschooling style. I'm also going to put a description links down below to help you learn what your style may be. So another way you can learn more about the different homeschooling styles, and something that really helped me, it was a book called The Wild and Free, and I will link a description of that down below. I searched and searched. We don't have everything unboxed yet, so if you've been around my channel for a little bit, or if you stumbled upon this video but also saw other videos, we actually just moved. We are a military family, and I am still unboxing things. So I can't find that book, but there's another book, and I did find it because it's something that I was actually on and off reading a little bit right before we moved. It's called Teaching from Rest. It's called Teaching from Rest, a homeschooler's guide to unshakable peace. This book is amazing. It's a really short read, but it's really helpful. I also love to read this book right before, like over the summer, we are a year-round homeschooling family, but it helps me just kind of give that boost of like, let's get ready for the next round. And I'll talk about year-round homeschooling in a little bit. So you need to find out your learning style of how you want to teach, and then also your child's learning style. And there's a place that I will put a link down below on where to go for free to answer some questions on your child's learning style, because it's going to be very important when you're going to either make up your own curriculum, purchase curriculum, maybe you're going to do like mega bundles, or maybe you're going to just do unit studies. But if you have a kinesthetic learner, trying to find some of those maybe things you already have at home to help them through their learning. So that's going to be another aspect to see, are they an auditory or a kinesthetic? There's others. What kind of learner is your child, so you can help and best equip them. And you can start teaching them as young as you want, of course. So I mean, as parents, we already teach our children. We teach them how to speak when they're babies. We teach potty training, teaching how to use a fork, all those fun and good things that we're excited to see their milestones. And so teaching is just the same way. Before your child is ready to start like traditional schooling, homeschooling, like learning to read and your numbers and colors and all those fun things. Like I said, you can teach just going out on a walk and talking about the colors of the flowers. But when you're getting ready to start doing some of these, before all of that, start reading aloud to your child as much as possible. That I just can't emphasize enough. Reading aloud, amazing picture books is a great thing to do. I found a group online that I absolutely just love, and it helps me find books that I would have never picked and do more in-depth studies and learning together with my kids. But I also don't always do those. We read it and we enjoy it. And that's called Read Aloud Revival. Yes, Read Aloud Revival. I can put a link to that down below, but that's been a great resource for us, but it's, of course, not for everybody. So that's in a little bit of a nutshell. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section down below. If you are thinking of homeschooling, but you don't know what to do, and maybe I didn't answer a question about that, please pop that out down below. I would love to help you through that. But next, how do I homeschool Stephanie? And I already have my kid in school. They've been in school for years, or they're in high school, and I'm ready to pull them out. And let me just tell you, if you're new here, I have 6 kids, and hence 6 arrows. But I pulled kids out in high school, I pulled them out in middle school, and I pulled them out and started in elementary school. And then my younger ones, they're never going to be going to school, as far as my husband and I have the pull from God to homeschool our children. And so as of right now, that's not a plan to ever put them in school. So I know what it's like and the anxiety to pull your children out of school. So same thing, some things are very similar, but some things are not. What you're going to want to do is, first and foremost, you want to pull your child out of school. Sorry, airplane. Yay. So you want to pull your child out of school, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to first go to the HSLDA website. And again, that's going to be linked down below. So don't worry if you don't remember this right now. I'm going to have a link so you can just click on that link and go straight there and search around all there for your state and what you need to do. So you're going to go and figure out what you need to do in order to withdraw your child from the school system. once you have withdrawn your child from that school system, you're going to need to see what they want you to do and your laws. And HSLDA is this is not sponsored by anybody. This is a website that I use. It has been very helpful for me and a lot of my homeschooling friends, and people that have been doing homeschooling way longer than I have. This is our 4th year. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to write out your why. So you've withdrawn you're getting everything done. You're withdrawing your child out of school. Making sure you write down that why, because it's going to be a rough road, but it's going to be a rewarding one. So you withdraw your child, you're going to write out your why. This is going to be very rewarding, but it's going to be hard all at the same time. And so what you're going to want to do is really make sure you have that written out. And then you're going to need to take a little break, because homeschooling is very, very different than a brick and mortar school. And so if your child has been in the school system for a long time, you may need about a month or so to unschool, is what it's called. And what is unschooling? Do they just get to play video games all day? Like, Stephanie, what are you having me do with my kid? No, they're not going to sit around and play video games and sleep till noon and not have to do anything, right? So what we're going to do is during this unschooling process, you're going to kind of train your child what it's like to be home all the time, to do school. And your school may not always be at home. You may pick up everything and go to the park once you get in a rhythm, right? But what you're going to do is you're going to unschool. And what this looks like is it's going to be new for you and for the child or children. And so you're going to kind of make out like a routine, not a schedule, because that can be hard to stick to this schedule and it's very rigid, just like a school system. I've tried that and I failed. But my routines, they worked, because sometimes we had morning appointments for things because I couldn't get an afternoon one. But as soon as we got home, the rhythm just picked up and started, and it was like an oiled machine. It worked well. But during this time of unschooling, you're going to get up at the time that is comfortable for all of you. Maybe you want to get up a little earlier, but you're like, okay, you're going to get up at 8:30 or 9. Maybe you want them up earlier or later. Whatever works for your family, pick that. They're going to get up. You're going to do breakfast. Think through your rhythm. But during the unschooling part, maybe you're going to do things that are like school, but it's learning through real life. So some of the ideas that you're going to want to do is maybe you're going to have them, depending on their age, make breakfast. Not cereal and milk. Let's make some pancakes. Let's measure out the things. Okay, so we're getting some fractions and we're getting some things in. They're reading the recipes. They're doing these things. But they're not understanding that we're getting all this learning in. So, and if they're younger, maybe they're helping you. They're helping you measure out your flour for the pancakes. They're helping you count out the eggs, watching you crack them in, or maybe you let them do it and let it get a little messy. It's up to you how you want to work that, especially depending on their age. Another thing that you're going to want to do is read aloud to your child, even if they're in high school. Read aloud together. When I first heard that from Sarah, I can't remember her last name. Shoot. But she's from Read Aloud Revival, and I absolutely love it. But she said, it was powerful for what she said. Don't remember all exactly. She has a podcast, Read Aloud Revival. I'm also a part of them, and this is not sponsored by them whatsoever. I don't get referrals for anything. It's been amazing for us, and that's why I talk about it at times. But she said there is just a power in reading aloud to your child. It doesn't matter their age. And I'm like, I stopped reading aloud to my children when they learned how to read. Like, you know how to read, go read. But having them just relax and sit back and just listen to the story is just amazing. So we started that, and I thought this was silly. My high schoolers loved it. Sometimes I have used a whole lot of words with teaching, but I say, like, I use Audible. And sometimes we're all going to just sit around and we're going to paint, or we're going to do crocheting, or we're going to just sit outside and draw and listen to our audiobook together and then talk about it. What did they like? What was kind of nervous, or whatever's going on in the story? So there's many ways. If you're like, Stephanie, I don't want to sit there and read like a chapter. Maybe you read a little, and maybe you have Audible read a little, or maybe you flip it upside down every couple of days, you know? So those are just ideas. But reading aloud and doing read alouds and being with your children through that, go to a park, go on maybe like a nature walk. Doesn't have to be like a big old hike and everything rigorous, but go out and talk about the things that you're seeing and smelling and hearing. Maybe you just sit down and you draw. And you're like, Stephanie, I'm not a good drawer. Neither am I. But it's still fun, and we laugh at how silly some of our pictures are from something we saw. Or we congratulate the people in our family that are great at drawing. And sometimes you may find your child has a hidden talent that maybe nobody knew because they were in school. So you're going to take that time to unschool, kind of see what it's like. And during that process, you're going to want to find out what your teaching style is going to be. How do you want to do things? And if you watch the first half of this video, I talked about it, but if you skip to the part where fit for you, there's many different styles. Like, I'm an eclectic homeschooler, and so as an eclectic homeschooling mother, what I do is very different than somebody that does a Montessori home or homeschool, or somebody that's a traditional schooling. So traditional schooling but homeschool is just like you're thinking. It looks like a classroom in one of the rooms of your house, or a spot, and they do school at home just like they would if they were in a school building. I tried that once, almost for a year, and it was not for me, and it was not for my son. So that is not one way I do things, but there's also Waldorf, there's Montessori, there's classical, there's Charlotte Mason, there's a plethora, like not huge, but there's a list of these homeschooling things. A book that I read that was really helpful for me to solidify what probably would work for me was The Wild and Free, and that's going to be linked down below. They also have homeschool groups. Teaching from Rest, A Homeschooler's Guide to Unshakable Peace. This book it was amazing. It still is. I will probably be reading this. Like, my plan is to read it every summer, just because it helps give the rest. And sometimes if things are going rough for me in our homeschool, or trying to find the new rhythms because of just moving, this book is just amazing to help you remember that it's okay, and to just take that time and rest within peace. And so that book I found, I highly recommend as well. So you're like, okay, so I did all those. Now you have to also learn like your child's homeschooling learning style. How do they learn? What's the best for them? And now you're going to mesh the two of those so that they fit together. And then the next thing for both, whether this is new for you or you've had homeschooling, like picking up in the middle of the school year because you're pulling your kids out of school, whatever the case may be, you have to decide, are you going to homeschool for 4 days a week, or are you going to homeschool 5 days a week? Another one is, are you going to want to do traditional school year, or are you going to, traditional school year meaning like August to September, and you end in May or June, and then you take off the whole summer? Or are you going to be a year-round homeschooler? Well, if you're very new to homeschooling and you're like, I have no clue what year-round homeschoolers are, Stephanie, like, what are you talking about? So I'm a year-round homeschooler. It's very helpful for me as we're a military family, but even if we weren't, or when my husband retires, we will probably still do the same, because I don't care to travel in the summer when everybody else is traveling. It costs more money. It's super hot. And so what do? We homeschool throughout the whole year. And yes, we take a lot of breaks. But I've also learned, especially Donovan's been walking back and forth. He's collecting roly-polies for his little habitat. That's who you see walking around. I learned early on, we used to do school year traditionally, but I learned that he forgot half of his stuff, just like they do when they go to school and then they're off all summer and they go back to school, and that circle. I was like, I don't want to waste 2 months reteaching what we already taught. And so what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to just keep going. And so some people take 6 weeks of school, take a week off. 6 weeks of school, take a week off. We kind of typically we're doing school, and when we're ready to take a break, we take a small break. And little do they know, we're doing a lot of unschooling during that break, and it's just a lot of fun, having fun together, resting together. A lot of the times we also take off when my husband is off work. So if he is gone for so long, then he comes home, we're going to take a break because we all want to spend some time with him. We've missed him. So there's different ways of how to do it. We don't really do school in the whole month of December because it's Christmas, and we take time and we digest and we bake and we do Christmas unit study. Let's read stories, drink hot cocoa, and it's just a joyous time. Not we're gonna sit down and let's get this schoolwork done. So but everybody is very different on how they want to do it, and that's amazing. That's the beauty of homeschooling. And so now what do? You go and you find the tools and the things that you need, and then you go straight from there. So you're gonna go write down your why. You're gonna go to HSLDA, and you're going to find out the laws for your state. You're going to go to homeschool, the homeschool on, and you're going to figure out how you want to teach, how your children learn, do some unschooling, and just love on your babies. Have fun and enjoy your time together because it's so precious. It goes so fast. And trust me, it's so rewarding, such a blessing, but it is a little hard at the same time. So I thank you so much for sticking around for this long video. I hope it's helped you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It totally helps my channel out. And again, thank you for being here, and see you soon. Bye.